Good morning from our freshly poured concrete. It looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. So we're getting a sealer put on. Can you tell? The bottom half, I've got the sealer on there. And we're gonna have to get a saw and get it cut here later this morning. But we're putting this sealer on to keep water kind of rolling off of it, to give it a nice wet look to it, to protect it, keep the water out of it. And we're using a product called Super Diamond Clear. We've used it before. It works pretty good. Anyway, I just got it in a little hand sprayer here. We're gonna finish spraying it out and then go find a saw. Okay, the sealer is on. We'll see if I can clean this up. You're not supposed to use regular old plastic garden sprayers for that stuff. You're supposed to buy their industrial one. But I don't want to buy one. And if I go through a $20 sprayer, so what? I got a saw, so I think I'm going to go find something else to do for a little bit. It's been about 2 hours since I put the sealer on, and I just want to give it a little more time to get dry. Let's see, is it wet at all? No, it's hard. It would probably be fine. But we got to mark out our cut lines, and we're going to have a little bit of a different pattern here, because some of it's going to get cut straight this way, some of it's going to be on an angle following the house and then coming out, and yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that out here in a little bit. It is starting to cloud up. They're calling for rain here today. I'm considering going to plant something, but I've got one load of seed that I need to get out. I might try and do that and then go look at a field and see if we can't knock out 60 acres here before it rains. Well, the guy that gets that seed didn't answer his phone, so I'm not just going to show up without him knowing that it's coming. Let's go check our field. Well, right here on the high ground, it's good. We'll be okay. It's a little wet there, it's a little wet there, but those pockets pretty much now just hold water all the time. We got a broken tile or something, especially over there. That one never used to do that, but we have farmed around it the last 2 or 3 years, so we're not going to wait on that. High ground is good. Let's go down in some of the black ground and see what it looks like there. Well, it's not mushy anymore. Yeah, we can plant. Let's go load up the planter. That's good. That's good. What, like I said, when it breaks apart, when you dig up a couple inches deep and squeeze it instead of mushing together, you're good. Mechanical weathering at its finest. That's how you break down rocks into soil. You just break them into smaller pieces. Unfortunately, this one's going to get picked up. Or not unfortunately. Just saying, it's, you know, eventually it would turn into soil or minerals in the soil. But we got to get it out of here because rocks in our field are no good. And we'll never get them all. There's a small little muck pocket here. Just wanted to stick a shovel in this. You can see we got some weeds coming. Those are all giant rags. Once we get this planted and Dad sprays it, which he might be able to do later today if I get it planted soon enough, because he's spraying corn now, he can put some Roundup in. Oh yeah, this stuff is fine. Doesn't even, yeah, plant it. I know a lot of places have Roundup resistant giant ragweed. Ours don't seem to be too bad yet, but the glyphosate combined with the Acuron, the corn herbicides, should clean all that up. It has been a while. It has been a while. 2 weeks, I think, today, since the last time we planted anything. So I'm just trying to remember where we're at with stuff. We still got seed in the planter. I don't know how much. I don't know how far it will go. And then fertilizer, we've got enough 2x2 for maybe 40 acres. We've got enough, or I'm sorry, in furrow for maybe 40 acres. We got enough 2x2 for maybe 25, something like that. I think we're just going to go and plant until we run out of something. Lighter is better here, so rather than loading up enough fertilizer to do the whole field, let's plant until we run out of seed or fertilizer, and then come back here and load up and figure out where we're at from there. So we've got the last of 108 day in the planter. I do know that. I have right here some paper bags of 108 day that I want to use up. So those will be probably what we put in next, and then we'll go from there. Oh yeah, this is gonna be nice. Back in my seat. I'm gonna need to just push some buttons for a little bit and let my fingers heal. That one especially got tore up from the concrete yesterday, so yeah. We're gonna go plant. Like I said, I think we can do 20 to 25 acres, and then we'll see where we're at from there. Fill up on seed and fertilizer, and take us a little longer running back and forth, but the field's less than a mile away, and it's better to be light than heavy. We're gonna have to do the whole teach ourselves how to run a planter thing again. It's been long enough, I don't remember. No, we'll figure it out, but yeah. This is all still pretty new, so we're gonna go through all the steps and not forget anything. I don't think we have any issues. We weren't having any down pressure issues or anything. There was the only thing that's still a little bit up in the air is, or not up in the air, but just one of those fertilizer turrets was not sensing flow or something. So see if we get that errant message again today or not. See how this goes. Hopefully we don't have any fertilizer leaks on anything, because I really don't want to get fertilizer into cuts on my hands. Plant 23 is back on after a extended rain delay. We got it figured out. Had to get my scripts and everything loaded. That took me a minute, but we should be good to go here. There's our gauge wheels so far off. We'll get it. We'll get everything set up. The singulation looks good. Population's good. Everything, yep, we're good. We're good. It's all good. I got out to dig for a minute. So this is a very different planting conditions than anything we planted into before, and specifically on this hill right here. But our ground is firm. It's hard. It's been rained on. It's not soft, loose dirt straight up behind the field cultivator, right? So we've got a crust on the ground, and you can see all the loose dirt in our rows. Like, everything is getting broken up really well. We're planting into good loose dirt, but we have a much more defined seed trench. So there we've got a seed, there we've got a seed, and you can actually see the seed trench wall a little bit. Now our closing wheels are doing a decent job at breaking the upper sides of that down, fracturing it here. You can see where we've broken that sidewall up so that the roots can get through there. And you can also see this trench here and here. Those are from our conceal knives. So you'll notice that wet streak there. That's our fertilizer, our 2x2 fertilizer. So that's working good. You can't really see the in-furrow stuff, but that should be in this trench here as well. It's just such a low rate that you really can't see that. But I like what I see. I like my placement on my fertilizer. Everything looks like it's working like it's supposed to. I like my seeding depth. I like how those seeds are planted firmly in the bottom of the trench. And, you know, I would like to see this sidewall broken up a little bit more. But for the most part, I think everything is doing a good job. And about the only other thing I could do is put a little more down pressure on our closing wheels. Adjust that T-handle down to make them press down more. But you can see where I lifted up on the end where we were stopped, and you can see that same thing. There's our conceal, and there's our seed trench right there. So all looks good. Sometimes this muck can be a little tricky to plant. They're just small pockets here, but a lot of times you'll see it just kind of flowing in front of the planter. Hydraulic down pressure automatically adjusts so that we don't get too much down pressure in it, though, and that's pretty sweet. Okay, we got ends done for a little bit until we get up to the house there, so we can cruise across here. We're going to run out of seed or fertilizer before we get that far. Probably, it's starting to look like fertilizer is going to run out before the seed, so that's a little unfortunate. I would rather run out of seed than fertilizer, so we can put a new variety in when we get back to the farm, but we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. We got paper bags going in next, so we may end up throwing those bags on the platform and just bringing them over here and throwing them in when we need them. I think we need to even out our seed bins a little bit. Seed bin 1 says it's low, but 2 has not come on, so we'll see where we're at. I forgot how much fun this was. No, I didn't. That's a lie. It's not that I forgot. I just haven't had a chance. But man, is it good to be back in a tractor doing something. Oh, yes. Well, they were a little off. We evened them out. We're going to come out pretty darn close on both seed and fertilizer. Out of seed. That's good. There cannot be much fertilizer left in there either. So we're going to go back and load up with both. Like I said, we've got some paper bags of some seed we're going to put in. I don't remember if there's 8 or 10, something of 108 day. That's a new number for 24, technically. It wasn't really available for sale this year, but they have a few bags of it that I'm going to plant here. We're going to test it right next to my other existing 108 days. One of my kind of trial things that I get to do. And I hate selling seed to customers that I've never planted before or that I don't know real well. So getting stuff a year before I can really sell it gives me the opportunity to test it and know more about it when I go to sell it next fall. So we're only putting in 8 bags of seed because that's what I've got of this variety. So I decided, since we're gonna have to come back anyway, after that we're gonna just put in enough fertilizer for 20 acres, which is what the 8 bags will do, or we're doing a little bit more than that, but we're putting 500 gallons in of our 2x2. We need 100 gallons of our in-furrow, which happens to be what's in that tank, so we're not gonna add any of that. And we'll put our seed in, go plant it out. And then when we come back, we're gonna put a full box of seed in. We'll get enough fertilizer to finish this field and plant the one across the road that I checked that's good. It's 160 there or something. So check the radar, there's nothing really imminent. We might get a fair bit done today. 08B38AA. We're gonna see. So the AA means that it's an Agrisure above. That means it's got corn borer protection and does not have rootworm trait. So above ground protection only. 93% germ on the primary hybrid. Then there's a refuge. It's 93% germ. So what that means, shoot, I can't show you now. Well, I could, but I gotta have to take the lid off. Somebody's asked in the past, you guys have asked about why there's different colors of seeds. Well, it's the refuge corn that's blended in. So when I say Agrisure above, that means that this corn has a trait in it that if a corn borer were to start eating on the plant and doing what corn borers do, you know, boring into the stalk or the ear, that trait, that protein in there, will kill it. It's BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a natural occurring insecticide that is in the soil that they've taken and put into the corn plant that makes it kill bugs. It's awesome. The problem is we do not want those bugs to become resistant to that trait. And so in order to help combat that, they put in a refuge for the insects. So it's 5% of the seeds in there do not have the BT trait in it. And therefore those, it's sort of complicated on how it all works, but basically it gives a susceptible host for the bugs to feed on, so that when they mate, the offspring are always susceptible to the trait and will die. If you had all traded corn out there, a few of them may eventually, or may have some natural resistance to the BT trait. Those are the only ones that would survive. They would all mate together, and then everything would be resistant. This way, if there's a resistant corn borer and it mates with a non-resistant one that's been feeding on the refuge corn, the offspring will be non-resistant and they will die when they go and feed on resistant corn. It all makes sense, but it's sort of hard to explain. Last 2 boxes of corn on the tender. One of those is partially gone already. I do have a pallet of bags there. The bags are the same as what's in the full box. So we'll use the box up first and then we'll use whatever the paper bags we need to finish. But we got that ready for when we come back. Let's go plant out what we've got, come back and get a bigger load. I do have to actually cut that concrete today, which I've not done yet, but I can do that in the rain. I can't plant in the rain, so we'll worry about it later. Back planting, fills out, must be checking fields, been picking up a few rocks here. We made it to the house, got some short point rows and this little triangle piece to do here, and yeah, fun stuff. I just went out and checked my tanks and we are about out of seed again. There's enough to go maybe a quarter of a pass and we aren't going to mess with it. So we're going to go back and load up. We're going to load up enough to finish this field, which should be about 20 acres, and to plant the one across the road over there. There's like 60 there, 65. So maybe we'll get a fair bit done here. That's awesome. We are loaded up with enough fertilizer to plant 90 acres. Those two fields, the rest of the one and the next one. And enough seed for 120 or 115. We got plenty of seed to do what we're going to do. So let's go plant this stuff out, and then we'll figure out where from there. I don't think we have anything else that would be ready to plant today. I know we only have 2 other fields that are worked up and ready to plant, or no tillage necessary. One of those is the one east of town that we looked at yesterday that was not even close, and the other one is just a little 40-acre piece that tends to hang really wet. So I'm not optimistic that we'll be able to go there, and it's kind of where I usually plan on finishing last anyway. We, outside of that, have 2 other farms or fields that need to be done. Both of them need to be field cultivated yet. So maybe we'll jump in the field cultivator and do one of them when we're done planting. We are back over here planting, and the planter pulls noticeably harder in this stale seed bedded kind of ground, especially heavy now. I can't go very fast. A little bit of a wet spot right there. No big deal. But this is going to be a problem. Those are raindrops. Like, it looks like a lot there, but there's not very many acres because it's point rows. It's on an angle. Like, I just need 20 minutes. I don't know if we're going to make it. Well, the rain didn't amount to anything. Just a few raindrops. So we're going to get done here. I think we're going to jump across the road. I need to check the radar again, see if there's anything more really close or not. But there's 62 knocked off. My goodness. So this field has, it's got lots of rolling slopes, and we've got dikes and standpipes and stuff. And it's got rows going every different direction because of that. So, yeah, just show you here. We pulled into this corner, planted these ends, then we had to go along the road, and we had to do a little bit about the house, then we came back, and then we made this pass, and then I needed to do this, but I had to get those ends, so we did there, and then we came down, and we had to plant these end rows, and now we can finally go back and forth, cover this side of the field, and then we got to do this little bit in the woods back here, over there, and then we can come back over here and finish this stuff up to the road. Of course, some of these rows go this way, and then we come back here and finish all of this. Just jumping all over the place in this one. And we can't even go fast because it's pulling so hard. Oh, man. That's a problem. This is starting to happen a lot more than I like. We might have to see if we can make some adjustments for next year. I get rocks caught in the closing wheels. It's not the conceals that's the problem, it's the closing wheels. Almost every time. There is also a wet spot in this side. We're gonna not plant through that. We made it. I just mostly lifted and we swerved a little, but we kind of can drive across some of that stuff, but you don't pull planters through that. It's a bad idea. These are by far the worst ground conditions that we have planted into yet this spring. Now the ground is very warm, the weather is warm, this corn should grow fast, but as far as dry, good ground conditions, this is the worst of it that we've done so far. Which is why one of the reasons why I kind of pushed stuff early, because I know that that is always a possibility that it's gonna turn wet, and our ground conditions were perfect early. Like, it was not wet at all, it was ideal. So yeah, I'm okay with it because we don't have very much left. Most of our early stuff is all coming out of the ground. It looks good. We need to do some more scouting when we get a chance and check some of the last planted corn from before the rain. They should all be spiking through, but yeah, we're in good shape. The stuff that was coming out of the ground a couple of days ago, you can row it across the fields now, and it looks really good. We finished this ground in the woods, and now we're gonna start here and work our way up towards the road. This pass right here along the woods is always the sketchiest on this farm because there's like a spot that bleeds there, and if we're gonna get stuck, this is where it's gonna be. It's such a small spot, you think you can go right through it. And maybe we can, maybe we can't. I don't know. Yeah, see, right there. We're gonna make it. long as our tank doesn't sink. With the old planter, the 40-foot planter, the first pass along the woods was always fine. It was the second one that got you. This one, we kind of hit right in the middle of it. Dad has officially caught me in the sprayer. He is spraying the field that we just got done planting. So, good thing we're almost done here, just up to this dike. And so we've just got to plant this a little bit in front, and then he can spray this, and he will have all of the planted corn in fields sprayed, and that is awesome. We made it. Filling in the last little spot here. Sweet. We're gonna head back to the farm, and I should go cut concrete, but we might go see if we can do a little field cultivating first. Well, I decided we're gonna wait on trying to do any tillage. I gotta get this concrete cut, so we're gonna take our saw down and get that done. All right. So we've got this giant concrete slab here, and concrete is guaranteed to do two things. Number one, concrete gets hard. Or pretty hard. It's not fully cured by any means, but it's pretty hard. Number two, it is going to crack. It's not cracked yet. That's good. What we are going to do is control the cracking. And so I got several comments on yesterday's video when we were pouring that, you know, we forgot to put expansion joints in. Nope, no, I didn't forget. And I've gathered from context that some people, when you pour concrete, you actually like trawl a groove in or use a edger kind of, I don't know, to make a groove, I guess. I don't know. I have never seen that done in any concrete that we have poured or that I've been around. You always pour it, finish it, and then the next day come in with a saw and cut the lines where you want them. Just like how my garage floor is done. I didn't pour this, but somebody did. They poured it and then they cut it. See? You just make squares, basically, blocks. So we are going to kind of follow that pattern, probably cut it into smaller squares than we need to. I think it was 10 or 12 foot maximum. I think it's 12 for 5-inch concrete, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm going to basically, we're going to draw this all out, lay it out, chalk line it, and we're going to have cuts going in a couple of different patterns, I guess. But out here in the driveway part, we're going to go straight north and south and east and west. And they're going to be a little bit off, but yes, let me show you. Let me explain. So at some point I intend to pour the rest of the driveway to the road. It's probably not going to happen soon, but I intend to do so. When we laid this out, notice how we've got this straight edge here and then it curves, right? That edge there follows the garage. So the idea, this here is 28 feet from one end to the other. The driveway will be 15 feet wide. That gives me 6.5 feet on each side to kind of pour an angle or to flare it up at the top here. So we're going to cut where those flares would start, which means 6.5 feet in. And then we're going to cut where the middle of the driveway will be, because that's where the cut will have to be in the driveway. So it'll be one continuous cut all the way through. So that'll be 6.5, 7, 7, 6.5 should put us right at this bend. We're going to cut square following the grooves or the brush marks in the concrete. That's why we have brushes going two different directions too. And then we're going to come off of the garage floor and we're going to follow that cut all the way out to here and then turn it and go square. Same thing with this one, come out and then turn it and go square. And then we'll see from there whether I put one in the middle of that door and then another one in the middle of the doors and out. I don't think two cuts across this. It's going to be close. I'm going to have to do a little research because we're like 35 feet. So if it's 12 foot squares is acceptable, two cuts would be enough. That would be enough. I wonder how far apart those are in between the garage, because there's not, I thought there was one behind the post in the garage. There's not. It's just the ones in the middle of each bay. All right, we've got all our grid lines laid out here. We've got a triangle in the middle, and there's nothing I can do about it because we're going to have a triangle. It's either going to be there or down there. And this is how I want my cut line, so it's going to be in the middle. So I'm probably putting in plenty of cuts, if not more than I need. Nothing is more than 9.5 feet, nothing smaller than 6.5. Most of them are like 7 by 7 grids. Oh, I take that back. This one here is 11. It's a little bit wide, but I think it's okay. I don't know. I might throw another one in here. I'm going to cut what I got and we'll see how it looks. So I chalk lined where all of them are going to go. We've got our saw here. I've got a water line hooked up to it. And the goal is to cut 1/4 of an inch of the thickness. We're 5 inches thick, so that means we need to be 1.25 inches minimum. 1.5 inches would be fine. We do not want to cut deep enough to hit our bar, which should be in the bottom 2 inches. So yeah, we've got plenty of leeway here, but let's see how we do. All right, we've got to put another cut in here. Yeah, it's just too far. So I'm gonna measure these two, and we're gonna go halfway in between, cut out and then out, and then the other thing I got to do is clean up all my starts. Right, so I can't get all the way to the end when I'm going the other direction. So we can turn the saw around and cut that way and get right to the end. So we'll work on that. We gotta chalk line this out. There we go. Oh, I should shut off my time lapse. Is it still on? I think the camera died. Nope, still going. All right, good deal. 17% left. Okay. Well, we made those initial cuts. We did end up putting another one in the middle here. So these blocks are roughly 6 by 6, 6 by 7, something like that. Plenty small, but it's just how it fit, splitting everything, and I really like it. I do know that last one there is gonna crack. It's gonna break, but it's okay. It cut nice. My cuts are fairly straight. I think I did okay. Let's see. What do you guys think? Is that straight? Not too bad, huh? Not too bad. Oh, all right, so we're basically done here. Only thing left to do is strip the forms and then backfill around it. And the forms can come off. They could have come off last night. I just haven't had the energy or the time to do it, and they aren't hurting anything by being on there. So no big deal. But we'll work on that maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe it's go time here. It still hasn't rained. Doesn't look like it's going to. I was really hoping to get a little bit of rain, but what are you going to do? I was adding it up earlier, and if my memory's right and my math is right, we've got about 165 acres of corn to plant is all. That's not much. If it doesn't rain tonight, tomorrow, we probably won't finish tomorrow because part of that is my corn plot. But we can get everything but the corn plot done. I know, well, we'd have to check the fields, see if they're ready, but it's, you know, it's time to go, I think. And yeah, we're about wrapping it up, so. This is a huge project. I'm so happy with it. Like, oh, it's going to be so nice. Keep my garage floor cleaner. This is going to be awesome. Thanks for watching today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed getting back into planting tractor. I know I sure did. And we will, let's see, tomorrow is Saturday. It's looking like I'm going to be working enough to make a video tomorrow. So look for one from tomorrow. and we'll go from there. So have a great night. We will see you when we see you, but probably tomorrow. I am still planning my agronomy live stream that hasn't happened yet. But it's about time. So if nothing else, maybe we can do that tomorrow or something. I don't know. Leftover pizza from yesterday for dinner. Good night.